Alright, so I like to have fun, and granted this game is indeed fun, but there's also something that I think you should keep in mind, and that is that if you're going to have fun, not every game is going to turn out like this one. So I just want you to keep in mind that I make several decisions throughout this game, and there's a lot of them that are not great decisions. Like holding here would be a bad decision. Fortunately, yeah, there we go. I unlock it and I find another reroll. So playing Merlin this game, and Merlin is really, really fun in the early game, especially if you pick up a whole bunch of these double rolls, because you're just going to be giving the owls so many stats. And here, it's big enough that I actually, selling, just buying that third owl is actually not that big of a deal, because see, we're still totally easily big enough to take this out. And here I think probably the play is just, buy a puck, but I'm on my third spell and I really, really want to find a decent spell to cast. And there's a really interesting spell. So I buy it, and I've only got 2 characters on my board, and I have to win the fight. And somehow we do. I just want to reiterate that that's not something that often happens. And again, like buying a 4 cost and selling, one of your only 3 units to upgrade it to a 5 cost, it'll work out sometimes. It'll be really great sometimes, but other times, it's just gonna, you're gonna be left with a useless 5 cost and only 2 units on your board. And you're gonna lose the fight just like I did. And you might not be lucky enough to have another red puff in your shop like I was. So we're gonna go ahead and take Storybook just because it's the only option. Broker's Brooch would be okay, but we don't have any units, and we're really not in the position to be selling anything anytime soon. And I think here I finally make a decent decision, and I just buy a unit. Like, just get the units on my board so that we can start doing something. None of those are fantastic units, but and we luck out and get a red puff again. So now at this point we're looking pretty good on puffs. We've got the purple puff already, and we're not even going into 5. And I think this is actually one of the few actually intelligent decisions I made this game. We double XP, and we just need to lose this fight. That's really all we've got to do. So I get rid of one of my units. We're going to play 3 units down. And we're just hoping that we can lose this fight. Because if we lose this fight, then we'll be 6 in 1 turn. Unfortunately, we can't manage to lose the fight. but we go ahead and pick up a pirate map anyway. So we're chilling. It's not a big deal. We're still at 5, 2 levels ahead of the lobby. And yeah, we're just going to keep buying units and see what we can find. We're really hoping we can find another puff, and we do, so well, that's great. I've got a double spell, which is the reason I didn't use that spell. I was hoping that I would find something a little bit better. Probably better to just cast the spell, but playing greedy is kind of the theme of this game, so and it's working out fine for us, but I just want to reiterate that it's not always going to work out like this. And we find another purple puff. So at this point, like we're so ahead of the tempo of like what a normal puff game, or I keep saying puff, a normal fluff game should be. And we're not locking for that XP. We're gonna go ahead and lock for the Narcissus just because we have that purple fluff pair, and then having a Narcissus pair would make it so that we can get both of those and then knock out our treasure map. The XP just really doesn't matter too much. We're ahead of the lobby right now, and we're winning fights, so I think we're totally fine just buying the Narcissus and then rolling down to see if we can find like a purple puff, or maybe even another Narcissus, or even another green puff, which is totally fine as well. And we find ourselves up against a hunter's board that's actually looking fairly strong for this point in the game, but our puffs are so big right now. And there's our first 5 cost upgrade. So we're gonna go ahead and take Hero Mask, and I think Treasure Hamster is the obvious choice here. Treasure Hamster is just so valuable in the late game that it's really hard to say no to. And yeah, I think we're doing pretty good at this point. All we really need is to get that Narcissus upgrade, so we're not even gonna bother with the red puff there. If we had enough gold, I probably would have bought it, but you know, we're really just looking for, you know, either a blue puff or a Narcissus. I suppose we'd take like a purple puff or something like that as well. And now we're still scaling. We're just trying to scale anyway, because our puffs are big enough that it's actually a little bit hard. I go ahead and take the Guinevere here because I'm thinking, well, I don't want to roll down and find nothing, but I immediately find the blue puff right after that, so it kind of ends up just being 6 wasted gold. But I think, you know, in a vacuum, Guinevere is a pretty solid choice on a puff board, just because, you know, you can stick her in between 2 purple puffs and she'll double the boost that they receive, and you know, it's pretty good scaling, like if you get her early enough without, but once you get the blue puff, I think she's pretty obsolete unless you have like, you know, your backline boosts your entire front line kind of treasure. And now we're gonna be putting our scaling into high gear now that we can get scaling through slays. Kind of think about putting an ascension on the blue puff, which I think maybe would have been smart. And we finally get that Narcissus upgrade, so we're gonna go ahead and take Aladdin's lamp. You know, we're not losing any fights. We've got our board is plenty strong. I think it's a pretty obvious choice there, and we'll go ahead and buy a red puff. And yeah, now we're looking really happy. We've got all of our puffs scaling, and we've got an Aladdin's lamp, so we're guaranteed an 8 cost treasure, and that's a pretty hard thing to complain about. So yeah, we're gonna keep going, or we're gonna go into our next fight, and you know, they've got some decent stealth units, but none of the big stealth 6 costs, and we're just gonna easily take them out with the size of our puffs, and we're even gonna miss out on a decent amount of the scaling. And I do finally get the ascension. I think I didn't quite finish what I was saying before, but I'd thought about the ascension prior to this. But my thinking at the time was, well, I can get that potential 7 cost treasure from upgrading the blue puff. But now that we're 1 turn away from getting an 8 cost treasure, I think it's fine to just, you know, double down on our scaling, get the extra bonus that a blue puff is gonna give us, and see what we can do with our 8 cost treasure. And we're going up against a pretty strong cats board. They've got all sorts of cats and pirates going on, and you know, I think this is one of the first fights where we're kind of gonna be put on the back foot, and we're gonna end up losing a little bit, but we're done losing now, or just about done losing, I'd imagine, because now we've got World Tree with puffs, and all of our characters are now puffs and are getting our giant puff boosts. So yeah, there's just the possibilities at this point are endless. This is one of them with the Angel Commander. It's a really fun one, where, you know, whenever you slay, then you're gonna get the Angel Commander's stats onto like your other units. So that combined with our blue puff is just gonna be really fun. And yeah, we're just gonna keep scaling up a little bit while we find some decent characters to put on our board. So yeah, we're rolling down, seeing what we can find, and there's a good boy. We're gonna go ahead and pass on the blue puff just because there's so many things that we're interested in, and I'd much rather take this this boost item to put on our big purple puff, and now we've got, you know, just a really cool combo. So our good boy is gonna be slaying. He's gonna be getting his dying breath triggered whenever he slays, and it's going to be multiple times, boosted like 4 times by the purple puff in the background. Plus it's double slay, so multiply that again by 2. And in addition to that, he's giving the Angel Commander boosts. So he doesn't actually end up slaying that game or that time, which is unfortunate, but we're still big enough to to end up winning the fight. We'll take this upgrade, and actually we've got a hero helix from our treasure hamster, and we're gonna go ahead and take that just so that we can you know, double what our hero does. And we're gonna get a purple puff upgrade as well. And I think Celestial Shield is a very easy choice here. It's so good. You know, our front line is all wanting to slay. So the fact that, you know, we can get hit into and then still slay is just really, really cool. And our good boy is going to slay this time, so you kind of see what's happening. So he brings up our Angel Commander up to like 4,000 attack, and now every time we get a slay, those are just going to be increasing. She's up to like 13,000, and it's just, you know, every slay that you get is going to be massively increasing what you can do. And we're going to pick up this next Angel Commander. And you know, Blackbeard would be a really, really good unit to have. But actually, cancel that. We get Trophy Hunter, which is just, you know, so amazing considering that we're already trying to slay. And we've got our upgrade for our Angel Commander right there. So there's just almost nothing that could get in the way from us just steamrolling this game. One thing is getting our good boy Pigomorphed, which kind of puts a little dampener on what we're trying to do, and it's very, very unfortunate, but we still get pretty big. We get pretty big, but this guy's stars are also huge, so we actually end up taking a loss there, which is a shame. But I don't suspect that he's gonna be able to Pigomorph our good boy a second time in a row. And even if he does, I mean, look at all the scaling that we got from the last game. Like, our puffs gained like 200 damage or 200 attack in between rounds. And we're going to go ahead and lock for this good boy. We did a Pigomorph, and you know, there's probably no reason to lock because we're going to be winning this fight pretty easily regardless. But here you go. You get to see what it looks like to slay with a good boy with a World Tree Puff board. And the results are quite spectacular, as you can see. He's up to 4,300, and looks like he's even going to get to slay again. So yeah, we're up to a 64,000 attack backline, and it's pretty easy to see what happens from there. And that's only going to get worse and worse as the game goes on, and we keep slaying more and more. So, you know, if the game went like 2 more rounds, then I think we'd very easily be going over like 100,000. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that game. I know this is the second World Tree Puff game that I've done, or World Tree Fluff game that I've done, but I mean, who doesn't like to see World Tree Fluffs? So there you go. Thanks for watching. Bye.